Hi guys, I'm going to make a series of videos to try to help out new players. There seems to be a problem with new players starting to play this universe online, so hopefully this video will be able to help at least some of them. I'm going to create a new character for this, even though I already have a lot of characters. I will create a new character to be able to experience the game as if it was a new player. And also, since Game Update 47, there's been a lot of changes made to this universe online. And the character progression is one of the things that has been affected by Game Update 47. So with a brand new character that goes through the character progression, we should be able to have a look at how Game Update 47 affects character progression. So we'll do that. So I'll take you through the character creation and through the first mission, which pretty much serves as a tutorial. And hopefully it will help new players to be able to get into the game and understand the game mechanics. I I toyed with half a dozen characters. I wasn't sure which character to actually use for this, and decided to go with the popular Wolverine character. So we're gonna try to recreate as much as we can Wolverine within this universe online. I will skip the cinematics because I haven't figured out how to be able to keep the sound of the cinematics. Essentially, when I tried to do this before, there was no sound with the cinematics, so I'm going to skip them sadly. Although the cinematics are pretty awesome. If you get the chance, you should definitely watch them. Or if you create a new character, take the time to watch those cinematics. Essentially, at character creation, you can try to you can decide to take a template that's already made, or you can custom your character as you wish. Customizing is pretty simple, so I would suggest you do that. But if you really want to jump into the game right away, nothing stops you from using a pre-made character. Of course, you have to choose between heroes and villain. We'll go with the hero this time. There's a few different attitude you can give the character. There isn't that many, but there's enough to serve the purpose of the game. You have to choose a mentor at character creation. The mentors don't have that big of an effect, but they do unlock a few missions that you can only get with your mentor. So that's pretty much the only real use the mentor has. So we'll go with Batman in this case. With the powers, I toyed with using nature to mimic Wolverine's healing abilities. But it felt wrong to create a Wolverine character without any stealth abilities, and nature doesn't have any stealth that I know of. So I went with Gadget instead to be able to get the stealth abilities. And also, we should be able to mimic some of the healing powers of Wolverine using gadgets. Of course, we'll go with acrobatic. And with the weapon style, we'll go with the martial arts. Wolverine spent a good amount of time in Japan, so he most likely did learn to use some sort of martial arts. For the costume, there isn't that big a selection, but people have been pretty creative in coming up with characters with the limited selection we have. So we're going to try to recreate Wolverine as closely as we can. You can see there's quite a few hairstyles, although a lot of are pretty similar. But then again, we're gonna wear a mask, so it won't really matter unless we, at some point with the armories, if we decide to go with a look that doesn't have a mask, then it's gonna show. So let's go with something that has mutton chops. Let's go with this one. The hair will go black, of course. I'm gonna make the eyes yellow. It doesn't really make sense right now, but it will make sense once you see him in costume. Again, you can see there's quite a big selection of masks, but a lot of them are pretty similar, so there isn't that many different masks in the end. You actually see the V-Cross. Uh, it's essentially the same mask, but with different patterns on it. But it's good enough to get started. And as we progress through the game, also you can see the why I did put the eyes yellow. Like we can see the yellow eyes now. That's done because if you select the emissive eyes option, like you can see, it makes the eyes yellow. For the emblem, we'll go with the classic X. For X-Men, of course. There isn't really a chest that looks like the Wolverine chest, but we'll go for as close as we can. The streamline is okay. For the back, we could probably put a cape or a backpack or something, but nah. The Wolverine doesn't really have such things. For the hands, the classic is always good. Doesn't look like Wolverine quite yet, but the colors should help a bit. I'm a big fan of the classic yellow costume, so we will try to emulate that if possible. We're limited with three colors with the color selection, so we're gonna cheat a bit. There should be some blue in Wolverine's costume, but we'll settle. We'll cheat the blue and make it black instead. Like the boots normally I would make them blue with the black rim on top, but in this case, we'll cheat it and make it completely blue. Now comes the tricky part with the name.
Download successful.
Uh, there's like 23 million characters right now, so getting a good name, getting a name that isn't taken is pretty tough, and it's even more tough if you try to get a good name that isn't taken, and even more tough if you try to make some sort of iconic name. So let's see what we can do. Sometimes you have to cheat a bit to be able to get the name you want. So you try to get as close as you can to your name and hope for the best. And it worked. Again, I'm going to skip the cutscene. The cutscene are pretty nice to look at. Sadly, I couldn't figure out, as I said, how to get the sound working properly with the cutscenes. And I hope you like the loading screens because you're going to see them quite a lot. So here we have our Wolverine character making his entrance in the DC universe.
Okay, I'm Oracle, and we are going to get you.
Essentially, we can just cheat it and assume that it's the 616 Wolverine who somehow got caught in some sort of wormhole and ended up in the DC universe world. And of course, he was captured by the evil Brainiac.
Conversion chamber malfunction.
They broke my hack. The ship knows you're free. Watch out! Get ready. My readings show forces gathering beyond that door.
As you can see, the martial art
All units.
weapon style gives him some sort of Qatar-like weapon. But we should be able to change the look of those weapons as we progress through the game. We're going to meet our first mini-boss.
Gather reinforcements. I will patrol towards the prisoner bay. Repairs initiated. Damage detected.
So as you saw, we got a feat. Essentially, as we...
That was an overseer. Let's get you out of their patrol range. Look for a transport tube above you. They crisscross the ship. Use that to keep moving.
Essentially, when we get stunned or controlled, if we press the block button, it will make us break out from whatever is holding us. Also, I'm going to go to the style tab, and I'm going to lock the style. Essentially, whenever you equip a new piece of equipment, normally it will change the look. Like if I got a new pair of gloves. If I was to equip the gloves, you'll see that, oops, my gloves have changed because I equipped a new piece of gear. So if you want to avoid that, the way to do that is to go to lock all and lock all your pieces of equipment. That way, whenever you equip a new piece, it will never change again. So if I go back to my gloves, I can equip the original gloves I had, and there we go. And now, even if I equip and unequip the gloves, my gloves will never change. So if I want to change the gloves now, I have to go into the style menu, and then I have to go into hands, and then I have the various gloves I could have. So I could have either the fourth world, which I just got, or I could decide, nah, no gloves. And that this is how it will look like. So I'll stick with the trim classic. I'm a classic kind of guy. So as you can see, the acrobat can climb walls. Again, it's not really a Wolverine ability. It looks more like a Spider-Man kind of thing, but we'll do what we can. So right now we got a new power. There's three kinds of powers we can choose from. There's the iconics, which we can't choose any of the iconics until we reach level 10, and some require as high as level 22 before we can choose them. I'm not really planning to take many of those, so no big deal. There's the device tree, which allows you to take various abilities, like the sticky bomb. We have the anesthetic, which will allow me to mimic Wolverine's healing ability at some point. There's distract, which is one of the stealth ability I wanted for our Wolverine. And I will start with essentially what I want at some point is to have the stealth ability and the battle display, which will give a heal over time to the character. So I'm gonna have to take Taser Pull, which is not really an ability that has to do with Wolverine, but sometimes you have to do the best you can with what you got, and this is one of those cases. In the loadout, I usually put range abilities on the triangle button for some reason. So I'll do that. So essentially, you can see I can throw a grappling hook. And you saw essentially on the top left corner, you'll see the name of the character, and underneath you'll see his health bar, which is the yellow bar, and the blue bar is his power bar, which is what allows him to use his powers. Underneath, there's an orange bar that's starting to fill, which is the supercharge, which doesn't really matter right now. It's going to be just later in the game that we're going to use that. And underneath, you see that little green starburst. Essentially, that starburst tells me that I have an attack buff. Essentially, the attack buff is whatever is indicated in the power. Like if I go on the taser pool, if I go down, you see it says that I have a 35% increase in my damage. So that green starburst is telling me that, like, as long as the green starburst is there, I have 35% extra damage.
All units, the subject has left the main corridors. Search the vessel.
So ideally, you're going to want to use a power every few minutes to be able to get the starburst back. Now we got a new chest and a new chest and a cola. So
Continue.
The entire ship is connected to Brainiac. You have to keep moving. Get ready. The ship is sending more security your way.
So as you start a power to start your buff, your attack buff. So now I have my little green star that tells me that I do more damage. And once in a while, I'll use a power just to make sure that I keep that little star up.
Motion detected in the hallways.
Like you see the star is gone, I'll start with a power. Not only, first the power does have certain abilities, like it pulls the character towards me.
There's a high security nexus up ahead.
But also it gives me the little green star to boost my abilities. There's a little chest. So whenever you break those little chests, they'll give you loot. It'll give you a reward, so you can go and equip your reward. And keep on going. Through the game, you'll see various consoles that you'll have to activate.
All units move into position. Contain the human.
And you'll see barrels that you can use sometimes either to heal yourself or as weapons. Like these red barrels are exploding barrels. So if you use them and throw them away, they'll explode and do some damage. See, I killed a few enemies with it. There's also a feat for breaking those barrels.
Delivering shipment of Earth goods. Delivering shipment of Earth goods.
Get ready. The ship is sending more security your way. Oh. Uh-oh. These energy readings. Brainiac has a full invasion force stored on this ship. We have to destroy it.
Warning. Human activity detected nearby.
See, I was stunned, but holding the block button, I was able to break out. You can grab barrels like this and throw them around. Here we have a small tutorial about the various game mechanics. Essentially here, you see these little guys, they're protected by some sort of shield. And in order to be able to take out the shield, I have to block.
Status critical.
Essentially, that's just to teach you how to block. Like the block, you press the block button, and you see a little shield appear that shows that you can block. Then there's a next wave that you have to interrupt.
Critical damage.
And then there will be another wave to teach you to block break. Essentially, the robots are blocking, and by holding the triangle button, you can block break them. So you can block,
Alpha protocol engaged.
block break. So you can block, you can interrupt by pressing the square button, or you can block break,
In sight.
like blocking, interrupt, and block break. Oh, and I earned a skill point. Right now, there's not much you can do with your skill points. You cannot put any in acrobatics, and you cannot put any in any of the other weapons. But later on, you're going to be able to do that. So right now, the only option is to put it in martial arts, and it will give access to a new combo, which is the knee launch attack.
Damage to this vessel continues to mount. Destroy the escapee immediately. All units move into position. Contain the human.
So as you can see, once in a while, I'll use a power to be able to get the little green star under my name. There's various barrels here that you can break. The yellow barrels give health, but also there's a feed for breaking like 1,000 of those. So whenever you see them, you break them. So I got a feed for breaking 5. So I think the top feed is 1,000.
What are you doing in here?
We'll use the last one for the next fight.
The ship's main gun is up ahead. Destroy it, and the ship's external defense network will go down. Then the League can get in and get you out of there.
Come over here, as Scorpion would say. See, we got another of those mini bosses.
There's initiative. Damage detected.
Do not let the prisoner reach the prime weapon control room. Damage to the power couplings will destabilize the ship.
So we got a belt. We're gonna equip that. So he says we're going through, as we're progressing, we're getting more and more equipment. And we can grab barrels, and there's two things we can do with barrels. Either we can use the square buttons and break them on the floor, or we can again grab them with the circle button, and then we can throw them with the triangle button. So we can either break them on the floor or throw them, depending on what we need to do.
Do not be foolish, human. You cannot stop the conversion.
Here's another mini boss.
You're in the Nexus. Destroy anything connecting the gun to the ship.
So here we have to destroy this 4 yellow thingy. So let's go ahead and do that.
When destroyed, stability at 75%. Stability now at 50%. Stop the prisoner. Only one coupling remains. Do not fail Brainiac.
Yes, the gun is falling. It's smashing into Brainiac's bottle below.
So now that we destroyed the thingy,
You will submit.
the Guardian will appear. As you can see, he teleports, so you have to try and find him again.
Damage sustained.
Here he's trying to heal himself, so we're gonna have to beat the crap out of him before he actually heals himself. Now we're gonna go and grab a healing barrel,
Superman, get ready. I'm bringing you in.
and I don't know if you've noticed, we got a new cape, so we're gonna equip that.
You will go down with this ship.
Think again, Brainiac. You can't take out the both of us. And we're not leaving until we shut this ship down. Permanently.
Essentially, there's a lot of robots that will appear all over the place. What I'll usually do is I'll spam range attacks. Instead of running all over the place after them, those robots, I'll just spam range attack and kill them with range attacks. Or I'll pull them to me with using my grappling hook.
Almost there. Keep fighting. The network doesn't want to let me in.
Harvester ship VII-O has been compromised. Deploy my remaining forces to Earth. The ship has been compromised. All units must evacuate.
Look out!
So now we have to go talk to our friend Superman.
Nice work. Brainiac wasn't counting on you breaking free and disabling his ship. Now use
So the
teleporter
first
and get
Wolverine
yourself back to the
Superman
city.
team up
We've got work
was
to do.
successful.
Yes, it's done. Superman will finish here. Use the teleporters to escape.
So now we'll go to the teleporter to escape. And we'll skip the cinematic.
Congrats. Now that you're off the ship, I'm Oracle. You've just teleported into Gotham's 9th Precinct Station, one of the many Justice League safe houses we keep in Gotham and Metropolis. How about I show you around? Safe houses are where you'll find contacts for missions, mailboxes, vendors, and the teleporter to the Justice League Watchtower.
Essentially, every new character stars in a police station. But depending on
Vendors
your
are where you go
mentor,
to repair
you
any
will start
damaged
in a
equipment
different
or
police
sell any
station.
items you don't need. Some of the vendors sell unique items.
This is where you'll
As soon
meet
as you have enough
your
renown,
first
you can purchase
vendors.
those as well.
So you can buy, sell, or repair your gear with them. So if there's anything you need to sell, you can do that. If there's anything you need to buy, you can do that if you can afford it. Usually at this point, I'll buy a new weapon. In the past, the new weapon used to be a bit more powerful, like it would do a couple of points of damages extra. But that's no longer the case since Game of Date 47. But also, I don't have a mask, so I'll get a mask, and I don't have pants, so I'll get a pair of pants. So I'll equip the mask, I'll equip the pants, and you can see I don't have a weapon equipped. Essentially, you have to repair your gear, and if your gear is completely broken, it becomes useless. And if your weapon ever becomes broken, essentially that's what's going to happen. Your character is only going to give punches like that with no weapon. So if you ever see that, it just means that your weapon is broken. So go to the nearest safe house or police station and repair your weapon. So I will equip this weapon. Essentially, the reason why I bought this weapon was to get a new style. It wasn't really more powerful than the one I had. So essentially, I could go either bare hands, the ninja claws, the katara I had in the opening mission, and now I just bought a brand new ninja claws. So I'll go with the ninja claws for now. And as with the rest, I can adjust the colors of the weapon. So I'm limited with the 3 colors I have, but still I can change the colors. At this point, we have no title yet, but that will come later down the line. So now when I'll attack, I'll have my brand new ninja claws. But I'm probably going to change that later on at some point.
Now this is the mail room with the mailboxes, of course, plus the watchtower teleporter.
So here we have the mailboxes.
And alert holograms.
I don't know if you've noticed, under the mini-map, you can see like a small envelope. Essentially, it's telling me that I got mail. So I'm going to get my mail. Some mail will have some rewards with them. So you just press the square button to accept the reward. And oh, I didn't have a mask yet. And it also gave me a feat because I collected 10 pieces of gear. Okay. So essentially, I will keep that character as if it was a new character. Normally, I would be able to redeem a lot of things from the marketplace because I bought a lot of those things. I will just redeem, for this exercise, I will just redeem the portable workstation, which will be useful for crafting. And also, I don't have a trinket yet, so the workstation will fill in that slot for a while. And also, it will be useful for crafting. Here we have the teleporter, which will be useful later at some point. I will just go around the station a bit. So you'll see there's a few NPCs scattered throughout the police station. Right now they don't do much, but as you go along, as you progress, they will give you quests. So there's what's known as the booster kiosk. Those kiosks give you missions. Essentially, it's explore missions, and it'll tell you to go explore a certain part of Gotham or Metropolis. So when you see a question mark above a character, it means that he wants to talk to you. Also, you have your journal. Like if you see my journal right now, I have a 75 years Batman exobyte. Essentially, this is a character for Legends PvE or Legends PvP. So I'm gonna take that. And also you can see the mission save the world. There's the intro message, find the safe house vendor, find the safe house mailroom. Now I have to speak to Sergeant Doak to finish the quest. So we'll do
I
just
know
that.
you're new, but Scarecrow busted out of Arkham Asylum and is nuking the East End with fear gas. The GCPD and Hazmat just can't handle this alone. If you see Lieutenant Bullock on site, don't tell him I said that, okay? He's real touchy about heroes.
So we should be able to complete the
This is
mission.
Batman. I understand you just destroyed a Brainiac harvester ship.
And now Batman is giving us
Let's see if you can
another
do
mission.
hero work on the ground. The Scarecrow has
Essentially,
approached
once
Arkham
we complete the
Asylum and
mission,
is
we
filling
will
the
have
East End
a
with
new
fear
pair
gas.
of gloves.
Ready to face your nightmares?
So that was it for the first mission in this universe online. We're gonna stop the video here, but hopefully for new players, this was a bit helpful. And the next video will take us through the second missions for and forward. So hopefully you'll learn a thing or two, and I'll see you next time.